Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah if you're new here. If you're not new here, you may wonder who I am. It's still Sarah. I'm just giving my contacts a break. I wear disposable contacts, and so once a month when I change them over, I like to give them a break for a day, so I got glasses on, and you're not used to seeing me in glasses probably. Don't tell anyone, but you know, I tend to leave my contacts in a little more than a month because I forget to change them when I'm supposed to. And so I really like to give my eyes a break in between because I don't want to ruin my eyes. I also used a crimper in my hair. I used this thingamabobber. I've had it like 6 weeks and I've only used it twice. This right here. I would give you a tutorial, but I'm no good at it. It was a lot easier this time. Just takes a long time. And then you just kind of go in the same creases all the way down. It's just, yeah, that's my quick little tutorial. It's pretty good. I think I like it. I bought it because sometimes I braid my hair and I like that wavy look. But after a number of days, the wave kind of goes away, so I want to use it to refresh that braided look. But I haven't used it that way once yet. Seth, say hi. This is Seth. And all that hair talk had absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to talk to you about today. I have made a big change in my life, and I wanted to tell you what that was, and it has brought me a lot of rest. Yay for rest. So what I've done is I've hired a, I don't want to say nanny, but she's not quite an assistant. I don't know what she is, but I've hired some help. Someone that comes in my house several days a week, just for a few hours, 4 hours, about 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. And so I've hired someone for basically 8 to 12 hours a week who is helping me immensely. The way she's helping me is sometimes with the children, sometimes with homeschool, sometimes with running errands, help me with my setting up my Amazon store that has taken me a decade to set up. She's done a lot of different things. She just kind of does whatever I need help with. So maybe an assistant would be a good word, heavy on the childcare. She's actually a young lady I have known since she was born. I took care of her when she was little. I don't know why my camera is going in and out of focus. It's not liking my glasses, probably. Anyway, I took care of her when she was little, her and her little brother. She was 3 or 4, and when I stopped working, I just had Judah. He was a new baby, and so I started watching 3 other kids, and her brother were 2 of them. So I used to watch her, and now she's helping me with my kids. It's very appropriate. She's a college student, and she has another part-time job as well. And so we are one of her jobs, and I'm very flexible, which I think helps her a lot, be very flexible and all the other things she has going on, and it is working grandly. I think she's been working with us for 5 or 6 weeks now. I'm not sure if it's a long-term thing I'll do or just a short-term thing for this season, but I am absolutely loving it. It is something. It was something that I felt to do for a little while, but it was very hard for me to make that decision for some reason, probably control issues. I just wanted to do it all myself, and it's something I knew I needed to make a change in because things just weren't getting better. Let me give you a little history to that. Story time. When I became a stay-at-home mom, I started watching kids, and then I did several other jobs. I did medical transcriptioning from home. I'm a nurse, and I worked overnights sometimes as a nurse. I taught piano lessons. I taught violin lessons. I'm a violinist. You may not have known that. And I just have done a lot of things. I cleaned houses for a little while. I've done a lot of things to make money. A lot of those things did not make much money, but as you know, when you have children or when you have a life of any sort, any little bit helps. I liked being able to do my part and do any little bit. There came a time after I had maybe my 6th or 7th child where I just felt like I could not do anything more. I was homeschooling all the way. I've homeschooled all the way, and so it felt like a lot. And so I stopped working for a season. It was really the first time I hadn't had anything that it was bringing in some sort of income. During that season, it didn't take long for me to really feel like I wanted something else, and I was praying about it. I wanted something else, and I didn't know what it was, and I wanted to do something a little creative. I don't think of myself as a very creative person. I guess I'm an artist in the fact that I'm a musician, but I just don't feel like I'm a very creative person necessarily, but the things I would think of to do were more like creating something to sell or whatever. I was trying to think outside the box where it wasn't just an hourly type situation for me. Yeah, that went on for years. So I just kept praying about it, and then after a while, I started feeling like the Lord was showing me to vlog, and I was really fascinated by vlogs, but I hated cameras myself. I've always been the one that avoided being on a camera or taking pictures. I'm not good at taking pictures or any of that stuff. But I started studying it more and more, and eventually I made a commitment at the beginning of 1 year. I had gotten a computer, which I needed, and a camera, which I needed for Christmas, and so I made the commitment that that year I would start, and I put it off until like almost the end of August, and then I realized if I don't start it now, I'm never gonna start it. And so I started vlogging, and I had made a commitment to do 1 full year, and I wanted to do 5 days a week. So in my studying, I felt like that would give me the most chance to make something of it. I was hoping that eventually it would be some sort of income for me. I didn't see it as being a huge income necessarily. I thought that takes years and years, which a lot of times it does. I just thought maybe it could be some outlet for me, and maybe it would also be something that was encouraging to other people and helped other people's lives. So I made a commitment that I'd have no idea what will happen after the 1 year, but for 1 year, I will make 5 videos a week. I did not even tell friends or family that I was doing it because I was super embarrassed about it. I just thought people would think it's weird, and then I didn't want them to watch. Really didn't want them to watch. Even today when I meet people, or they're like, I heard you have a vlog, or people I've known for a long time, I'm like, yeah, but don't go watch it. It's awkward for me. I don't know why. It still is a little bit. But anyway, that was how it went. I started, and for probably more than a month, I think a month or 6 weeks, I wouldn't even let Solo tell anybody. I kept uploading, I kept uploading and uploading, and we just 5 days a week, I just kept going, and a few people would find it here and there and whatever, and finally Solo's like, I'm gonna tell people. So he told people on his social media, and I got some more followers, maybe up to 100 then, and it wasn't until like December. So I started in August. It wasn't until December, I think, that I had 100 even, because I hadn't told people. So YouTube just doesn't find you, you know. I went from December till almost the end of January. I went from 100 to 1,000. And I think it was a grocery haul that did it, started bringing people in. And then I went through in a month, I went from 1,000 to 10,000. And then it kept growing like 10,000 a month for a while. I don't know what this deal is, but this camera seriously needs to get its act together. As you can see, I'm definitely an expert on cameras. Hold on, let me get this boy what he wants. Okay, I'm back. It was a lot of work. It was a lot more work than I maybe thought it would be. Although that's why I had put it off for a while, because I knew it would probably be a lot of work. I was still like trying to do life. I was pregnant during that time. So when I came to that year, I had to make a decision. And I decided to keep going. Obviously, here we are still. I did back off on the amount of videos I was doing a week. I backed off to 3, and that had been a lot more manageable for me. So I have been vlogging now for 2.5 years, and it's been a wild ride. I've learned a lot. I think my first videos are horrid, but I will never ever take them down. I went back when I was very nervous about doing it and watched a lot of people's first videos, and they encouraged me so much that if they can grow that much and change that much and become that good, then there's hope for me. And so I will never take mine down. If it gives anybody hope, they're pretty bad. That's another benefit of vlogging 5 days a week, is I got a lot more comfortable with the camera. We all did. Fast forward to about 3 or 4 months ago when Seth was born, or about to be born. Suddenly things just got a lot harder. It seemed a lot harder to juggle working than it ever had before. And I'm a big believer in grace for seasons, that God gives you a grace for a season you're in. So a lot of times we worry about things that might happen one day, but worrying does not help us in any way, just worrying about it, because when we do have to walk through things, is probably not what you're worried about. And if you have to walk through something, God's gonna give you a grace to walk through it that you don't have when you're just sitting there worrying about it anyway. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. Anyway, I feel like I had a real grace for that first couple of years to juggle so much. I have 7 children that I'm homeschooling, 2 toddlers, and now a newborn. Plus, my husband and I pastor a church where he does most of the work, the day-to-day work, But it still is a very real thing in my life too, and it takes time as well. And it's something that's important to us that we don't want to let any balls drop with. So it's a lot. It's just a lot. And I got a house to manage, you know, just like everybody else, there's a lot of things to do. And I really feel like that grace I had to add in YouTube at that time, that grace to juggle it all by myself, lifted shortly before Seth was born. I just felt like I was coming to the end of what I could do. I wouldn't say breaking point, it wasn't that dramatic, but I was like, yeah, something's got to give here, because suddenly it's this juggle that we've been doing is just not working anymore. Solo was taking some time out of his day to help so that I could work, because I get stuff done a lot faster when I don't have kids up in my face while trying to work. And we were just trying to do this juggle, and we had been doing this juggle for so long, and changing this and changing that and trying to do it this way and just trying to do it all ourselves. And it was becoming a stress and a strain on our family, which is something I did not want it to be at all. It's not that important to me. I love you guys, but I just wasn't gonna keep it up if it was gonna jeopardize our family life. So around the time he was born, just right before, a couple weeks before he was born, I hired house cleaners, and I was amazed at the difference and the amount of help that was. It just freed up some family time where we could spend a little more time together as a family, not cleaning. We have a large house, we have a lot of people, it gets dirty often, and so that has been great. I have kept that up every single week since November. We have somebody come in here, and every single week I am amazed at how blessed we are to have somebody come help us, because it is such a load off when trying to juggle all these things. And it just wasn't quite enough. And the one other thing I wanted to do, or I had thought about doing, was hiring someone to come in our house and help with the kids here and there so I could get some editing done. Basically taking over what Solo was doing for me. He wasn't doing as much of it as I needed, as far as staying home, just taking care of the kids so I can get some work done. I needed more, and so I basically, for the last 2.5 years, I have worked so many late nights and weekends. Now I know a lot of you work all day and work late nights and weekends. It's a thing we do, right? We call it the hustle. Sometimes we just have to do it. I think the hustle is great, but I also think the hustle has its time and its season, and it doesn't go on forever. It's not really healthy. Maybe it is in some situations, but I know for my situation, it wasn't healthy to keep going on forever. So for that 2.5 years or whatever, 2.5 years, the hustle was strong. And I felt like there was a grace for that. And when that grace lifted, I had to come to terms with the fact that I can't do everything by myself, and I don't want to. So it was a matter of really, truly, am I gonna let YouTube go, or am I gonna get more help? And it was a matter of our priorities. The extra income is a huge blessing. It's been a huge blessing. We've been able to do things we hadn't imagined we would be able to do, and we're able to save in a way that we weren't sure how we would ever be able to save. So thank God for that, and that's a blessing. But the money is not enough to keep up that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. I have a whole drawer full of letters and emails that I printed off. Yeah, letters, cards that people have written me, and I appreciate them so much. Like, we have a P.O. box, and people send gifts to us sometimes, and we love them, and it's so exciting and fun, and we love it. We don't show it on camera very often, but my favorite thing probably to get is letters. When people write letters to me, and I save them. I save them in a drawer, and when I'm wondering, what am I doing? I go back and read those letters, and I remind myself that this is exactly what I asked the Lord for. I wanted something that would be impactful. I wanted something that could be creative and that would touch people's lives, and that drawer is full of letters of people who have told me how much this channel has meant to them, and I appreciate that drawer. It helps me keep going. I have a little guilt over that drawer because I never was able to write any of those people back personally, and I do feel bad about that. But just know, if you wrote me a letter, I appreciate it so, so much. I have been doing the very, very bare minimum of YouTube. Like, we hardly ever take brand deals because that takes a lot longer. I literally film and I upload videos. I'm horrible at my Instagram DM direct messages. I am horrible at getting to my emails. I'm horrible at basically everything. I can't get my Amazon store finished, all that stuff. And I know I could hire assistants for all of that, but we've just sort of been in a little bit of survival mode, and hiring this young lady that's come in has helped tremendously. A lot of times I'll have her one morning a week, and on that morning she plays with my little girls. She's actually very artistic. She's an excellent artist. And so she draws with them and paints with them. Painting is one thing I'm not a big fan of. And so, like, you can paint with them, and so she loves it. They're creative, and the little girls have so much fun. Destiny gets stretched. Every time she comes in, she starts crying, but then she's happy with her very soon after. It's good for Destiny, believe me. It's been really great. So that morning, she plays with them a lot and maybe holds the baby when needed for a little bit, but mostly I have the baby with me. And I work with my big kids. I meet with each one of them. I work on problem math areas, all these things uninterrupted. I'm just homeschool crazy. One morning a week for 4 hours. And 2 afternoons a week, she comes and she helps me, like all the things I didn't get to, reading out loud with different kids. I have a list for her, math problems to check, that kind of thing, or errands that need to be run. But all the things I would be doing that afternoon, I write it out for her, and she sits with each one of them. She plays with Noelle and wakes up the little girls so they don't sleep too long, and all these different things. And then I come up here and work. So for about 8 hours in the week, I have uninterrupted time. That's why I'm able to film right now. And it's not dark outside with artificial light. I have real natural sunlight because it's daytime, and I'm gonna edit this video right afterward, which is a miracle. So that's been really great. Do you hear him snoring? A week or 2 after we had hired her, Solo's like, I feel like I hired an assistant for myself, because he has had so much more time because he doesn't have to come home. He was giving me about 4 hours a week. I really needed 8. And so now I have the 8, and he has his 4 hours back, and it's been very helpful for him too. So all in all, it was something I was very nervous to do, although I love her, and it wasn't about having her in the house or anything. I just was nervous about, like, I just thought I could do it all, and I didn't want to not be doing it all. Now that I have help, I'm wondering why I didn't have help sooner. That's where we're at right now. I hope this was encouraging to you in some way. I know a lot of you are in business or have different things that are not vlogging. Your life is not just like mine, but maybe it can encourage you in some way to do the thing that you've been putting off that might help a lot, or that the hustle season needs to come to an end, or maybe this is a time for you to hustle and just push through. I have been asked a number of times by vloggers, like, my channel hasn't grown. Maybe they're in the situation that my channel hasn't grown, and I'm not sure if I should keep pushing through or not pushing through. And so I have to think to myself, if that first year hadn't exploded for us, what would I have done at the end of the 1 year? And let me tell you what I think I would have done. If my channel had some impact on people's lives, I felt like it was making a difference for people, I would have kept it up. But I went to 3 videos a week. I probably, if I hadn't been making an income from it, I probably would have backed off to 1 video a week, or maybe 2 videos a month. So I would have made it much more like laid back, like when I have time, I'm gonna do it, and not kept myself to such a schedule after the 1 year mark. That's just what I would have done, because for me, it only makes sense if it's also adding to our family in another way beyond the memories. The memories are awesome. I really love that part. I love that part so much. I love it so much. But it's hard to keep that up if you're not making an income. It just wouldn't have made sense for me, because I probably would have wanted to add something else in my life that would have made an income. So that's probably what I would have done after that first year if it hadn't gone anywhere. But I definitely can't tell you what you should do. I can just tell you what probably I think the decision I would have made. I would have just done it a couple times a week and just made it a little more of a hobby, especially if I felt like it was impacting people. If it wasn't, I probably would have made all my videos private and just try to keep doing it once in a while, because it is so fun to have edited videos of our family. That part is really cool. All right, guys, I managed to put my baby to sleep. I usually like him to fall asleep by himself. That's a skill we try to work on around here, but you guys were a good excuse for him to fall asleep while eating. Was that nice, Seth? Thank you guys for listening to me ramble on and on today. I hope you have a great day. I'm gonna get on with my work here and hopefully get done a little early, because we're trying to leave for a trip and I got a lot of packing to do. A lot of it. Seth, are you gonna help me with that? Are you gonna help me? Probably not. This is Laura. Laura, say hi. And Laura's an artist. Laura, what's your dream for your life?
To become a dental assistant and hopefully go back to school and become a dentist.
Oh, nice. That's why I have her brushing my little girl's teeth in the mornings.
Yeah.
Because she has skill. And she's actually a very good artist. Noelle and Tori and who else likes art a lot? Yeah, they have benefited from her art skills. So thank you, Laura. We love having you here.
Yeah, I like coming over, so it's great.